Our next guest is working to help revitalize distressed neighborhoods across the country. They're called opportunity zones. They provide federal tax incentives for developers who invest in them. Joining us now, J. Scott Seal is the CEO of the Commercial Academy. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. We've heard about these, right? Opportunity zones. In
Absolutely.
fact, a big component of the tax cuts. I think Senator Tim Scott was really a big proponent and helped push it through.
Absolutely.
Now what happens?
Well, really what they're waiting for is kind of the final verdict coming in from IRS so that they can understand exactly how they and the Treasury are going to treat the opportunity zones. There's a ton of pent-up demand. There's a tremendous amount of need. President Trump and his administration have been extremely bullish on building in the urban core and reinvigorating what we believe is a major economic engine that can really make a big shift in our economy.
From what I've read, it's urban core, but also rural areas where you just generally don't find that kind of capital going in. Now, here's what some people are concerned about, that you put these tax-free havens in there, and I think they've tried these things in places like Detroit, and it does attract business, but it doesn't necessarily do anything for the locals. So you bring in a lot of young professionals from outside. These companies get these tax breaks,
sure,
but no one gets any job skills. A few local people are hired as secretary and security. Is there a way to make sure that, okay, there's some job skills trainings and there's some serious upside opportunity for the people in these zones?
Absolutely. And in fact, what you're talking about is rebuilding the infrastructure. We're talking about apartments, industrial warehouse, distribution, jobs, manufacturing, construction jobs. It's sustainable. And if folks go in there, they're not able to pull out quickly. There literally is no benefit if you're in less than 5 years. So you've got to stay in for the long haul. And that's kind of the tipping point as to whether or not developers are really going to move forward with this, because you've got to be in for 10 years. So how is the federal government going to work with the banking industry to make sure that you can incentivize this, but not really penalize developers when you get to that second stage of life within an asset's life cycle?
Where do you see it playing out the most? Are there already selected cities? I know that, okay, the fine print is being done, but as soon as I heard the deal, I would imagine that a whole lot of people started raising their hands.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks who are interested, especially a lot of large hedge funds that are being developed right now, specifically to take advantage of this. The key is there's 8,700 separate opportunity zones out there that have been identified by
8,700.
8,700 that have been identified by the various governors of each state, and more still being added to that list. So when you talk about urban areas and rural areas, there's also first ring communities that have kind of suffered from a little bit of functional obsolescence as well. So it really could have a major impact, and I think it's going to be an unbelievable program.
It's great news to hear, understanding that any moment now we're going to hear that Amazon's going to get a $50 to $60 billion break, right, to move their headquarters somewhere. One company, that perhaps with the richest man in the world, is going to get the ultimate tax break. We understand why localities and municipalities do this, but it's good to see the insight, right, to say, hey, we've got to also find a way to make those similar investments in the regular and people who may not have an opportunity right now.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And in fact, what's happening is it really is buoying a lot of optimism in the communities. A lot of folks are stepping up. There's a lot of projects that are on the drawing board right now. Many of them probably won't take flight, but there's going to be a significant number of projects that are already really ready to be released as soon as they open the stalls.
We've got to wrap it up here, but I know Magic Johnson's a big player in this.
Absolutely.
Tony Robbins a big player in this, and others. Good
yeah,
stuff.
We're going to be speaking with them out in San Mateo at the Real Estate Wealth Expo in San Francisco this weekend. So stop by and see us. It'll be a great show.
Got it. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Hey.